Well, I got something for you, bitch. It's called the Wife Beater Special. That's right, I got my wife beater on for Ilia Topuria. That bitch puts his hands on a woman.
Ilia Topuria's fighting career, it's done. And it's a shame to see it end this way. Everything going on right now outside of his fighting career, personal life, that's big things going on in this man's life. Why would he need to come back? He has all the money in the world, double champion, undefeated.
So I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna let you know that I am expecting sooner or later an accusation to be made about domestic violence.
Ilia Topuria is currently under scrutiny due to some personal issues. The lightweight champ is reportedly accused of domestic violence, which is possibly the reason behind his divorce. Although Ilia Topuria has rejected all such rumors and claims to be innocent, the fans and MMA pros aren't happy with that situation and want him to be stripped from the lightweight belt. Bryce Mitchell harshly criticized Ilia Topuria in response to rumors of domestic violence, strongly condemning any allegation of a fighter putting their hands on a woman. He said he has no tolerance for that behavior. Mitchell claimed that such actions would have serious consequences where he comes from and labeled the behavior as disgraceful and cowardly. He said that someone accused of harming the mother of their children does not deserve respect, while also framing his comments through his religious beliefs, urging Topuria to repent, change his lifestyle, and seek forgiveness.
Well, I got something for you, bitch. It's called the Wife Beater Special. That's right, I got my wife beater on for Ilia Topuria. That bitch puts his hands on a woman. You know, I grew up without a dad. You know, never seen my dad, never will see my dad. And you know what? I'd rather not see my dad than have my dad there beating on my mom. Let me tell you something, what that'll get you killed around these parts, son. That ain't no joke. There ain't nothing funny about it. And I just had to let you know you're a straight up for that. And your brother's a bitch too. I'll fight him. I'll beat his ass. You got lucky I was sick or I'd have beat your ass. And look, you don't deserve to get to see your kids, son. Because you put your hands on their mother. You're a coward. That's sickening. But anyways, bro, who am I to judge? I fall short of the glory of God too. Ilia, you need to repent, return to Jesus Christ, and if you repent, you won't rot in hell, bro. But you better really mean it, and you better really repent, and probably stop drinking too. You probably got a drinking problem, man. But return to Jesus Christ, you will be forgiven, and if not, you're gonna rot in hell, bro, because that's where women beaters go. And you know, one more thing for you, Ilia. Wives ain't like belts, okay? It ain't the more the merrier. You're supposed to have one man, one woman, to become one, okay? You're out running around working on your third wife now. Hell, you think they're championship belts and you're trying to get 3 or 4. You're an idiot, dude. You need to take notes from a guy like me. By the way, Ark Insanity episode 6 is out right now. It's totally family friendly. You can watch episode 6 with your kids. I don't curse in it or anything like that. Or I don't curse a bunch. But anyways, y'all check.
Joe Rogan also reacts to the situation and blames Ilia Topuria's wife, arguing that being married to a rare, globally admired 2-division UFC champion comes with responsibility. He frames the situation as a partner benefiting from the fighter's status and fame, then reacting destructively when the relationship deteriorates. Rogan characterizes this response as an attempt to damage reputation once things go wrong, portraying it as a deliberate and harmful escalation rather than a private dispute.
You hooked up with a guy who's an incredibly special human being, the rarest of rare. You not just UFC world champion, but a 2-division world champion, superstar who the whole world wants to see, and you're his wife. So you're like, oh, look at me, I'm married to the baddest motherfucker alive. And then he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Like, oh, really? Well, I'm gonna fucking take you down. And women, that's what they love, is reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts in when shit goes sideways.
Chael Sonnen and Daniel Cormier offered contrasting takes on Ilia Topuria's comments, with Sonnen interpreting them as a sign that Topuria may have effectively stepped away from the title picture, which in his view would elevate the interim fight to an undisputed championship. At the same time, Cormier clarified that no belt has been vacated. The bout remains an interim title fight, stressing that Topuria is simply prioritizing serious personal matters and signaling a longer than expected absence rather than formally walking away from the championship.
Ilia Topuria has officially walked away from the interim title. If this statement is true, automatically elevates Paddy versus Gaethje to an undisputed belt.
I think it's still the interim championship because I still believe that Ilia is stepping away further now. Ilia said it in that statement, what he has to deal with personally is first, and it's going to be what he takes care of before anything else. And I think that means the championship belt. It feels like he's telling us it's going to be a little longer than people may anticipate before he's back inside the octagon.
Daniel Cormier thinks that a decision on Ilia Topuria's status as UFC lightweight champion could come soon. He explains that, unlike the past when interim champions like Cain Velasquez could wait over a year to face the undisputed champ, today's standards don't allow for extended inactivity while retaining a title. Daniel Cormier said, "There used to be a time where an interim champion could be crowned, and it may be a year before they fight the actual champion. Cain Velasquez was an interim champion for like a year and a half. There was leniency for how much time you could spend away and still hold on to the championship. I don't believe that's the case today. I don't know that we have the runway to be as inactive and stay champion as we did before." Daniel Cormier observes that Ilia Topuria's comments suggest his return could take longer than expected, indicating that a formal decision on his title status may soon be necessary. Daniel Cormier said, "It feels like Ilia Topuria is telling us, without saying it directly, that it's going to be a bit longer than people may anticipate before he's back. So honestly, there might come a time where a decision has to be made." Furthermore, Ariel Helwani describes the situation as extremely serious, explaining that while it was already known that Ilia Topuria was dealing with personal issues, but didn't know that the situation was this serious. He believes the circumstances help explain why Topuria would step away from fighting and title defenses, given how much is unfolding in his personal life. Helwani calls the situation deeply sad, expresses sympathy for everyone involved, especially Topuria's family and children.
So that is heavy-duty stuff. Obviously, we knew that he was going through some personal issues, and there's rumors online, and I didn't want to partake in any of those. I had not heard any of this. I had not heard any of these allegations or rumors, innuendo, any of that. And so you can understand even more so why he would want to step away and not focus on fighting or defending his title, because obviously there's a lot going on. It's extremely sad. It's, yeah, I feel for everyone involved. I feel for his family. I feel for his kids. It's an awful situation. And so let's see what happens. Let's see what becomes of it, and let's see when we can see him back in there. As of now, there's no real timeline set in place.
MMA Guru also took a harsh stance on the situation, arguing that if the allegations were true, then Ilia would deserve heavy criticism, while also questioning the credibility of how the issue surfaced, noting that something serious would likely involve clearer accusations, multiple accounts, visible evidence, or even legal action rather than a vague social media post, and adding that without Ilia addressing it publicly, the matter may have gone largely unnoticed.
If it's true, he's a piece of shit. You can't be doing that. No excuses. Do I think there would be more to... I think there would be more of a direct accusation than an Instagram story. You know? I think there would be more of the he did this and he did that and this happened and that happened, and there'd be stories being said and there'd be some level of evidence and there'd be some maybe police involvement in a situation, and I don't know, but I feel like this is the fact that we've heard from Ilia about this first beyond her Instagram story. It's interesting that if not for this statement from Ilia, this would have really flown under the radar. And if something that serious happened, would it just fly under the radar and go to court and get resolved there? Or would there be more emotions flying from both parties? I'm not sure.
MMA Guru said the situation leaves Ilia Topuria's future unclear, questioning whether it could result in the title being vacated or Ilia having to reclaim it later. He emphasized that Ilia is one of the UFC's top and most entertaining fighters, but noted there is still no clear account from the other side beyond social media posts and a court case. The uncertainty, in his view, puts Ilia's return timeline in doubt and threatens the chance of seeing him active in 2026.
What comes of this in the UFC? Does he get vacated? Does he give up the title and fight for it when he comes back? I don't know. I don't know what to do with this. This hurts. One of the best fighters that we've got in the UFC, one of the most entertaining guys, just from a fan's perspective of the sport. Of course, if he did this, he deserves to be out of the sport, but I haven't heard anything from the other side of the story at all, other than some Instagram stories that were vaguely posted, and then, of course, the actual thing that we're going to court for in the first place. So, does this mean that we're not going to see him come back anytime soon? This hurts. I wanted to see an active Ilia Topuria in 2026, and now we don't know.
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen believes Ilia should be stripped of the title, saying interim belts are only meant for champions sidelined by injury or illness. He argues that once a champion misses fights for reasons outside that criteria, there is no justification to protect the belt. Sonnen admits the stance sounds cold but says it makes sense, adding that fighters have previously claimed injuries to avoid fights, so simply saying you are unavailable should not be enough.
The interim belt is for those that are dealing with an illness or an injury. If we would like to show grace to an undisputed champion because he's missing matches specifically for illness or injury, and the moment Ilia informs us that he is missing matches for anything outside of the criteria of illness or injury, that's why you strip him. That there is no precedence for an interim championship. And I had never thought of that, and I thought it was very cold. I didn't like it. I got in my car, I went back to my hotel, I'm staying by myself, and I thought about it. And I go, man, there's actually a point to that. If Ilia is missing matches, and all he's got to do is make the claim. He doesn't have to be telling the truth. A lot of guys didn't tell the truth. A lot of guys have missed fights and said they're hurt because they didn't want to make the walk.
Chael Sonnen shares that he personally sides with Ilia in the situation, but still believes the title has to be taken away. He explains that unless Ilia formally claims an injury and can support it with medical documentation, even acknowledging how questionable those reports can be, the UFC has no basis to keep the belt on him.
But if you're making a claim outside of illness or injury, to my understanding, the person at the UFC is correct. You're not eligible. You got to be stripped. I think that is a fair point. I don't want him stripped. I'm on Ilia side of this. I don't really like what he's going through. I think he's shared more with us than he has to. I also think he's innocent. He seems like a good guy. I really don't think that he would have done these things. However, yeah, they got to strip him. If he's not making the claim that he's injured and has some kind of a doctor report to back it up, as bogus as those can be, he's got to be stripped.
On the flip side, Paddy Pimblett has surprised everyone as he offers support to Ilia Topuria in his ongoing personal issues, but makes it clear that his own focus is on winning the belt. He states that if he captures the title, he will consider himself the true lightweight champion, regardless of whether it is labeled interim.
Obviously, me and Ilia mightn't like each other, lad, but I wish him nothing but the best with all his family. It's nothing to do with fighting. But when I win this belt, I'm the champ for now. I don't care if it says interim on it. I'm the champ. He's out the cage. I'm the fucking champ.
I was just going to ask you that because you were on our Full Send podcast a little while ago, and you almost like made this whole thing happen because you were like, no, I don't want Ilia to win the title. And you were like, I want my first UFC lightweight title defense to be against Ilia Topuria. So the way things have panned out, you're viewing this fight against Justin Gaethje as the actual UFC lightweight title.
Yeah, that's it. Because that's the belt what's in front of me, you know what I mean? I'm not going to do a Justin and throw it on the floor and say I'm waiting for the real one. This is the real one. While Ilia's out of the cage, this is the real belt. And I'm coming to take it on with me. That's coming back to Liverpool, lad. It's as simple as that.
Ilia Topuria also speaks positively about Paddy Pimblett, acknowledging that despite their rivalry, he sees Pimblett as a highly entertaining fighter who has done an excellent job overall. He notes that Paddy made a past mistake with a tweet about Georgia, but believes he learned from it and adds that he recognizes Pimblett as someone who understands family values and shows respect.
¿Sientes que ha cambiado algo? ¿Sientes que a lo mejor va a bajar un poquito esa intensidad de la rivalidad que ustedes tienen en los siguientes meses?
Para nada, para nada. Yo siempre, es que siempre que me han hablado sobre Paddy, siempre dije que a mí me parecía un tipo súper entretenido, que hacía su trabajo súper bien. Lo veía una persona que, bueno, tuvo su resbalón ahí, que se equivocó con un tuit que hizo sobre Georgia, pero yo creo que siempre aprendemos de nuestros errores. La vida está llena de experiencias. Él ha aprendido, pero en el fondo le noto que es una persona que entiende los problemas familiares, los problemas personales, los respeta, y después lo que va a pasar en el octógono, que creo que es algo que realmente lo que le emociona a todo el mundo, ¿no? Y lo que todo el mundo quiere ver, porque una cosa no tiene que ver con la otra, ¿no? Mis problemas personales y mi vida personal con mi vida profesional, y al final nosotros somos unos profesionales, vamos a tener un enfrentamiento profesional y yo creo que va a ser muy divertido en todo el mundo, para todo el mundo.
However, Ilia Topuria has made it clear that he does not plan to return in the near future and has declined to provide any timeline for his next title defense. He says his priority right now is the well-being of his family and children, and that he will only consider coming back to the octagon once those matters are fully resolved.
Finalmente, Ilia, porque el público lo que quiere saber, anunciabas no el primer trimestre, ellos pelean en enero. ¿Cuándo te gustaría a ti? ¿Cuándo sientes que es el momento para regresar?
Bueno, pues como he comunicado, estoy atravesando problemas personales. No tengo una fecha exacta de cuándo se va a solucionar todo. Espero que cuanto antes, en cuanto se solucione, yo estaré listo para volver en el octógono. Priorizo en este momento el bienestar de mi familia, de mis hijos, el mío propio. Así que en cuanto solucione todo, ya volveré al octógono y a darle todo el espectáculo que todo el mundo se merece.
¿Harás careo en enero? ¿Estás ahí para el ganador o...?
No lo sé. Estoy en ello. Estamos tomando decisiones en este momento si haré ese viaje o no, pero espero que sí.
Paddy Pimblett believes Ilia Topuria may be forced to vacate the title if he does not return by June or July. He acknowledges that Topuria is handling personal issues and says he hopes everything works out for him, but adds that if the champion remains inactive into midsummer, the belt could change hands without a fight taking place.
No idea. He's got a lot going on in his personal life, lad, and all I care about is getting him in that octagon and fighting him. Anything in his personal life, I hope it goes well, but you never know. If he doesn't come back by June, July, then he might have to vacate his belt and I'll become undisputed champ without even fighting.
On the other hand, Arman Tsarukyan has positioned himself as the backup for UFC 324, remaining prepared to step in if any issues arise between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett ahead of the fight.
Спасибо за вопрос. Отдыха не будет, так как я буду, можно сказать, запасным, но неофициально запасным на бой Пенди против Гейджи. То есть, если кто-то из них травмируется, то я буду готов залететь за неделю, за 10 дней, за 5 дней. То есть я буду подводить свой вес, да, я не буду гонять его в день взвешивания. Но если я им понадоблюсь, то я буду там. Из-за этого нужно мне держать форму, тренироваться, делать спарринги и постараться не травмировать себя в этих схватках. Но при этом же выложиться на 100%, чтобы люди обрадовались, пришли посмотреть за красивым завершенной схваткой. И отдохну после уже боя Пимблетт-Гейджи.
However, Paddy Pimblett believes Arman Tsarukyan dug his own grave by withdrawing from the title fight at UFC 311, calling him an idiot. Pimblett added that Tsarukyan can't buy his way into opportunities despite his father's wealth and emphasized that in the UFC, fighters need to earn their chances.
Arman's you know what I mean? Arman's an absolute idiot. Ilia's the man, so Ilia's who I'm going to fight. Arman just talks a big game and he's shit. Arman's made his own bed, lad, he can lie in it. He dug his own grave, pulled out of a title fight the night before, punched the fan on his walkout, headbutted someone at a weigh-in, and he's beat Dan Hooker, who I like Dan Hooker, but he can't grapple to save his life. You know what I mean? He's beat Dariush, who looks about 65 years of age, and he beat Charles Oliveira, but he never. I thought Charles Oliveira won that fight, and so did a lot of people. So he hasn't done that much himself to deserve this. So he thinks that because his dad's a millionaire that he can pay his way into things like this. Doesn't work like that with the UFC. Sit down, shut up, do as you're told.
Meanwhile, Justin Gaethje is focused on taking things one day at a time ahead of UFC 324. He plans to work hard each day, building up his preparation, and says he'll be fully ready and confident to knock out Paddy Pimblett and secure his title shot on the White House card. Justin Gaethje said, "It's one day at a time for now. I'm going to work my ass off. The days will add up, and I'll be very ready and confident in my ability to knock Paddy out and earn my title shot on the White House card. That's the plan." Justin Gaethje has also increased his training load for the Paddy Pimblett fight, adding an extra session on Mondays to push his body harder and prepare more intensely.
And I added an extra workout on Mondays, so now I have 3 workouts, and I really tear my body down so I can. And then Tuesday, I have sparring and sprints. Wednesday, similar to today, but it's only 2 workouts. And then Thursday and Friday is only 1 workout, but very high intense workouts. And so I think I'm going to be, I really knew for a fact that I was going to fight in the future, so I was, doing everything I could to be in the best shape of my life.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria hinted that the UFC has alternative plans for Justin Gaethje if he defeats Paddy Pimblett, but he declined to reveal specifics and questioned whether Gaethje could disrupt those plans.
No, de los más emocionantes para el público. Y Justin dice, yo les voy a echar el plan a perder al UFC y voy a pelear con Ilia en la Casa Blanca. ¿Te gusta esa idea? Porque obviamente Justin es de los candidatos, porque es estadounidense, porque ha estado cercano al presidente Trump, etc.
Mira, la verdad que yo siempre acepto la voluntad de Dios, lo que Él quiera que pase para mí será bueno. Si gana Paddy, si gana Justin Gaethje, realmente si gana Justin Gaethje, la UFC tiene planes diferentes de las que no puedo hablar en este momento. Pero bueno, si me ofrecieran pelear con Justin Gaethje en la Casa Blanca, también sería un combate muy emocionante para mí. Sería algo que me ilusionaría muchísimo. No sé qué tan capaz va a ser de arruinar los planes de la UFC y los planes de Paddy Pimblett. Lo va a tener bastante difícil, no imposible. Así que le deseo toda la suerte. Pero no sé si tendrá tanta suerte ganándole a Paddy Pimblett, porque después se va a tener que encerrar en un octógono conmigo y no sé si eso es tener mucha suerte.
Ilia Topuria also acknowledges that both Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett have earned the interim title shot. He explains the UFC made the decision because his personal circumstances prevented him from competing in January, and expresses that he's pleased for both fighters, seeing the matchup as fully deserved.
Interinato, Paddy Pimblett en contra de Justin Gaethje. Una pelea que tú incluso anticipaste que podría pasar, ¿no? Que tal vez para que Paddy mereciera la pelea de campeonato contigo, tenía que ganarle a Justin. ¿Cómo la ves? ¿Cómo te tomó la decisión del UFC?
Muy bien, muy contento. La verdad que yo tuve la conversación previamente antes con la UFC, sabía lo que estaba sucediendo, mantuvimos algunas conversaciones. Por mi situación personal sabían que yo no pudiera competir en enero, bueno, pues todas las cosas que engloba una situación personal por la que estoy pasando, y al final decidieron hacer el combate por el título interino entre Paddy Pimblett y Justin Gaethje. A mí me parece muy merecido para ambos, es un título bastante válido, bastante merecido, es lo más cerca que van a estar los dos de tener un campeonato del mundo. Le felicito a los dos, pero al final del día se van a tener que enfrentar con el real deal.
¿Algún favorito? Creo que la pelea de Paddy la quieres más, ¿no? Pero Justin tiene más experiencia, ¿no? En este tipo de peleas.
Pues la verdad que es muy difícil siempre hacer predicciones en ese tipo de combates, y más, no sé, es un combate muy difícil. Paddy tampoco es una persona que tenga muchas habilidades de llevar a alguien en el suelo con mucha facilidad. Justin es reconocido por su mano pesada, tiene la pierna pesada también, hace mucho daño con los calf kicks, con la mano derecha. A Paddy lo hemos visto recibir muchos golpes en sus combates anteriores, así que es un combate muy emocionante para todos los fans. Siempre me gusta ver combates en los que tienes la incertidumbre de que no sabes lo que realmente va a pasar y no hay como que un favorito claro, y eso es uno de esos combates. Y la verdad que la UFC es toda la gente que forma parte de ese equipo, son especialistas en hacer combates que nos emocionan tanto, ¿no?
So that's all we have from today's video, and hopefully you have enjoyed it. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe to our channel for more interesting MMA videos.